Hi everyone. I know it's been a long time since I've taught you another video, but today we are going to learn a new stitch, and this is called back stitch. I've taken a cardboard to show you how it's done easily. You can do the same if you want for practice and then do it on your material. I've drawn two lines here and I'm going to put a small dash over here. Everything almost equal space, and this is going to count for our stitches. Okay, the name of this stitch is back stitch. Try it like this and then easily you could be able to try it on the cloth. So now we're going to start our stitch. You notice I've put dots all over here like this. So our first stitch is going to be from here, our second stitch is going to be here, and our third stitch is going to be here, and we are going to follow the same pattern. Now I've taken a big needle. Since it's a cardboard, this is an embroidery needle. It's not very sharp, but it's enough. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and make some holes over here so the stitching would be easier. Same thing I'll do over here. All of the holes and the stitches are going to be of the same distance. Now, okay, as usual, try to take the thread which is only your hand size. This will be for easy pulling. This time I'm going to use all 6 strands, but when you're practicing, practice with 1 strand, 2 strands, 3 strands, and then go on to 6. So you'll see the difference. I hope you remember how to make your knot. Hold your thread, wind it once around your finger. It makes an X, then drag the thread out and pull it. This makes a strong knot. Now, okay children, so you've seen I've drawn the line and I've put the number. How it goes, the first time the needle comes from the back through the first hole, which is actually the second from here. You do not start from the beginning of the line, you leave that gap which is needed and you start from the second um, hole. Now you push your needle through the first one, bring it out through number 3, put it back in through number 1, skip this and push the needle through this. Now inside, keep doing it the same way. This is called back stitch. So when you're practicing on cardboard with a line already drawn, it makes it easier for you to learn to stitch back stitch, especially since cardboard is thick. You don't have to be worried about pulling the thread too much. That's going to shrink your cloth. If you notice, there is a nice neat line. You can see all the stitches. Now let's turn it at the back. At the back, you would see longer stitches. See, longer stitches. but it's still looking neat. Continue. This stitch can be used when you want to write alphabets. It's very useful for writing alphabets, and it's also useful for making those thin lines border stitch as well, and even for the tree stems the stitch is important. Now, how do I make a knot? The same way, I push the thread in. Do not bring the whole thing out. You see a loop. Push the needle in that loop and tighten. You have your knot. This will not come out. This is your back stitch. Now I'm going to tell you the whipped back stitch. Take the amount of thread required and do the same. Pull the thread just enough like this so that it don't pull it all the way through. Okay. Now again make the knot. Make an X. Push the whole thing outside and pull it, and that makes a knot. Start with your back stitch. The same thing from the second into the first, the third, and keep going. Now we have come to the end of the line. For whipped back stitch, you can choose the same color or you can choose a different color. Make a knot. I'll use a different color to show you the difference. So I've taken yellow, same rule again. Use the required amount of thread. Snip it off. Make the knot. Now, if you are continuing with the same thread, this thread will go here at the last where you finished. Use the back of your needle and push it through the stitches in the front. Do the same for every stitch. Make a knot. Start a little away from your starting point. This is your starting point, this is where you started, and this is where you're going to bring the needle out. Okay, so you've been seeing me put the needle like this, the thread. I'm holding the thread over here so that I will not get confused. This thread will not come in between my stitches. So what I'm doing is pushing the thread aside and making way for a clean stitching finish. Put the thread aside so there's nothing in your way when you're stitching it. Come to the end of our stitch. We make the last stitch here. Turn it around. Now you can also choose to end your stitch with this loop. You see this last stitch over here at the back? You can also choose to end your stitches like this. Push it through the previous stitch at the back and then make a knot. Let me show you one more time how I'm going to separate the stitches. Try to split it in the center, it's much easier that way. Count how many lines of thread you want. So I have chosen three this side, three this side. Hold it like this, it forms a Y. Put your finger in between the Y and pull the thread out. That's how you separate your thread. Start away from the starting point. Go back to the starting, through the center. That's your first stitch. You see these threads over here? You push your needle through that thread. It makes a loop. Put the needle through the loop and tie your knot. I'll teach you this later. Back stitch.